And you see it in politicians, like the Reform candidate for Gorton and Denton, who look at people like Rishi Sunak, Shabana Mahmood, and presumably Marcus Rashford, Shirley Bassey, Anna Sala, and say they can't really be English or Welsh or Scottish because they are not white. An affront to British values as I see them. And I tell you, as long as I've got breath in my body, I will always fight against that politics. I'm here today in Hastings for similar reasons. Because I love this country. It is the greatest country in the world. The progress and prosperity I've seen throughout my life, the journey that I've been on personally, from a working class background to this, I owe everything to this country and its values. I've spent most of my professional life serving them, not just in politics. And I believe that pride, shared by millions, is the key not only for uniting our country, but also for finding in each other the strength to create, in defiance of an increasingly volatile world, a Britain built for all. Now, you heard it from Kevin, or I think I should address you as Mr. Hastings. And I want to thank you and everyone else like you who give their heart and soul to the ground beneath their feet. I believe in that pride. I believe in that purpose. I believe in British values, in rules that protect those in need, in the freedom to live and let live, in decency and tolerance, in respect for difference under the same flag. A common good. The idea fundamental to the Labour Party that a nation is not just a collection of individuals, but rather that we're bound by values, by common endeavour, and by responsibilities that we owe one another as partners in the project of this nation. I believe in our way of doing things when it comes to integration, a British way that has always been grounded in the fairness of the two-way street, in rights and responsibilities, in contribution, the common sense that says people who come here, who work hard, contribute to our success, embrace our rules, buy into this project, they can become not just citizens, but neighbours, friends, equals, part of us. But most of all, I believe that these values make us strong, that in a world that increasingly preys on weakness, I believe Britain is stronger as a tolerant, decent, and respectful country. But we must be honest, because while I will always believe in these values, we cannot be blind to the reality that in recent years their practice has often become poor, and that when it comes to our shared responsibilities, we've taken our eye off the ball, and that our social contract is currently nowhere near strong enough to weather the storms of this world, because it's been undermined by political neglect, the scorched earth of Tory austerity, high streets, libraries, youth clubs, the places that shape a life, that bring different people together, that create the bonds of memory and pride in so many towns. They were just abandoned. Until you see now, sometimes from the very same people, a politics that has no interest in rebuilding any of that, only in exploiting the social scars. You see it in the industrialized grievance factory in parts of social media. Miserable video after miserable video telling you that entire cities and towns, the great communities of this country, are wastelands, no-go zones. And worse, selling the lie, defied every day by millions of people in this country, that people who look different cannot really live together. I reject that completely. And you see it in politicians, like the Reform candidate for Gorton and Denton, who look at people like Rishi Sunak, Shabana Mahmood, and presumably Marcus Rashford, Shirley Bassey, Anna Sala, and say they can't really be English or Welsh or Scottish because they are not white. An affront to British values as I see them. And I tell you, as long as I've got breath in my body, I will always fight against that politics. And on that, honestly, I never thought I would see the day when the Conservative Party would tolerate, for months, a man who went to Birmingham and said that the city had failed at integration because he didn't see enough white faces. That is a disgrace, and he should have been sacked months ago. But look, it's not just the right. Britain's also been let down by a mindset on the left of politics that is either too slow to defend core British values or that ducks the challenge of integration entirely, clinging to a kind of remote liberalism that is content merely to dispense transfers and targets from Whitehall, rather than nurture pride, belonging and responsibility from the ground up in our communities. You know, the Labour Party is the institution that stood with working class communities in cities like Glasgow and Liverpool, and door by door, street by street, turned a politics shaped by grievance and religious sectarianism into one of national renewal. That is our task again. Because politics in this dangerous era, it's no longer about left and right, but a contest between renewal and grievance, between those who believe society is a zero-sum competition and those who believe we can unite for the higher purpose of our community, our country, our common good. This government chooses the path of unity because that is the only way we can change Britain, the only way we can take control of our future, stand up to the world and walk forward together.